So, Jamie, welcome to the Money Games podcast, man. How are you?
I'm very well, Sammy. How are you?
For context, we've known each other a little while, haven't we?
We have indeed. 2014, I think.
Is it 2014?
Round then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing a bunch of sales jobs and we ended up on the same sales floor, really.
We did, yeah.
What was it for? Ingenuity, right?
Ingenuity, yeah. You came in and took an extremely popular high salesperson's desk, and everyone was like, "Who's this guy coming in?" George Van, his name. He went to Australia, and then you came and took his seat and made everyone know who Sammy was.
Yeah, I do remember it well because like me and you used to battle for top spot.
Yeah.
And then they were always like, who are these two like absolute lunatics? And then for a while, like we used to be a little bit hostile to each other. And then we had a Friday like drinks and music session.
Oh yeah.
And you put Garage on.
That's it.
And then I was like,
he's actually all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, that was the start of our relationship, bonding over some UKG.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we've been good friends for a while. Mm-hmm. And it is interesting because our friendship group, like, it's amazing, really. Like, we've got so many powerhouses in our friendship group, like heads of departments or, you know, just absolutely killing it in business or doing something. And it is really eye-opening. Like, I've never met a group of people that has just, and they were all your friends from school as well. And I, you know, happily integrated into it, which is just amazing. And I feel like we all push each other, which is so nice, and we back each other, right?
Yeah, I think what's great about it is while we all push each other, we're still very much happy to see people succeed. I think we've done very well at doing our own things and being successful in our own individual rights without feeling bitter and jealous. And, you know, whenever you put something that you've worked hard on or you succeeded in the WhatsApp group, like everyone's there like buzzing. And I think it is actual genuine buzzing for each other. It's not like, oh God, I'll just chuck a like at this because I have to, you know. I think actually we do care about each other, which is great. And I think it's, you know, it's amazing testament. Like you said, like you've kind of come into our friendship group, but I've known those boys for 20 years now and we still see each other nearly not all of them, but I still see nearly one of them every week. So it helps that one of them lives on my road, so that I just see him sometimes in the shop. But we do make an effort and we're still pretty tight knit. Even though people have got married, had 1-2 children, we're still making an effort to kind of hang out, and we're doing that after this podcast. Yeah, excited.
Few Guinnesses in the Irish pub.
Yes, definitely.
Has to be done.
I know.
But you've done some big things recently. You've gone and launched Mattr.
Yeah.
And you're on a mission to change dating.
Yeah.
And a big part of modern dating, you're really trying to fix this. And so give us the 411.
Yeah. Okay. So what is Mattr? So Mattr is really the world's first lifestyle app for single people. We've had like online dating in terms of websites and things like that. And that transferred into kind of very swiping based apps. Then we had like niche community apps and things like that. And what actually Mattr is trying to do is look at all aspects of a single person's life. I mean, dating is just one part of it, just connecting with people, and then the apps do nothing. Like, where do you go? You know, where can you meet people offline? You know, in real life has become a really big thing. So the whole premise of what we do is consolidate, and excuse the pun with that, but consolidate everything into one product. So yes, I can meet people online in a non-fatiguing type of way, one that's mental health conducive, because I think that's very important, and we'll come on to that a bit more later. But where do I then go with these people? Where are places I can go to get ready for the dates? Like hair salons, spray tans, whatever it is, all of this kind of dating singles economy is massive. And then also the rise of in real life, like since the pandemic, everyone's just craving that in real life connection. I know the pandemic it's half a decade ago, but it's just going up and up and up. So singles events and trying to remove, I think everyone's really tired of the phone, you know, and so what we try and do is very much limit that. So imagine you're single, you're in a city, you're like, I want to meet someone, could be online, could be offline. I also want to find some cool spots to go to. Instead of needing Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, OpenTable, ChatGPT, Google, I just click on Mattr and it's like, here are all the events going on in my city, here are all the cool spots, and I can get a discount limit, and here are all the people I can meet who are legitimately good people. And I think the thing where our difference is we base our product from the digital connections point of view on radical transparency and authenticity and openness. So we provide a real safe space for you to be quite vulnerable about who you are as a person, because weirdly, vulnerability is the most sought after quality in a potential partner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 93% of people voted that the highest in an anonymous survey that Hinge did, by the way. So it's not even us. So above height, above looks, above money was how willing were they to emotionally connect with me. And yet no product's been able to crack the safe space kind of, like, great, like everyone's successful, like you mentioned, and that's amazing. Obviously, we'll talk about kind of jobs and things, but who is Sammy? What's Sammy about? Like, forget Up the Games, forget podcasts. Who's Jamie? What am I about? Like, what are my core values and beliefs, and who as a person? Because this could all end tomorrow. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, tomorrow's promised to no one, and these types of things can all change. God forbid they don't. But your values and who you are and what you believe in will hopefully always remain true. And I think that's the most important thing when picking a partner. And yet we haven't been able to get that onto a digital sphere, which is what we're really trying to do.
Yeah, no, it's excellent what you're doing. I think it's really first class, and you're tackling a massive problem at the moment. And I know I had a stint on the dating apps for about a couple of months, and that's all long I lasted, because I couldn't deal with this just sheer volume of it, and it was very like, it felt almost gambly and dopamine heavy, and you kind of get that from short form content in a lot of ways these days. But I want to move on to, because there's a large part of this is obviously money related, and we're on a money related podcast, but the comparisons to 10 and 20 years ago, and how people basically see money and how it brings such a big role into dating. Like, for you, what are you looking at there in terms of like what it was like 20 years ago to what it's like now in today's society?
Well, there's two things to look at here. I think one, just the cost of dating has gone stratospheric. Okay, like, and we could do a whole podcast on that, but just constant. I mean, you used to work in the hospitality industry for a long time. The hospitality industry, I think, is maybe the third biggest employer or something like that, in the top 3 biggest employers in this country. And it's constantly, I feel, hammered with regressive taxation. We've just had this national insurance rise, along with a minimum wage rise, and they have to pass that on to the customer. So it's, I mean, I'll give you an example of how shocked I was. I bought my first ever, well, I didn't buy it. My friend did, thank God, it was his round, and then we left. But the first £10 pint, £10, £10 pint, £10 pint, yeah, £10.
Was it in a plastic cup?
No, it wasn't, thank God. It was in a glass, but it was flat as anything. But yeah, £10, £10.15.
Wow.
Asahi on the Fulham Road. I won't name the place, but yeah. So we're getting there. I mean, that's an anomaly right now, but we're definitely getting there. So couple of pints now, it's like 20 could be getting up to £20, and that used to be a whole night out for me. Like 20 quid. When I was at university, okay, it's a while ago now, but it's not that long ago, 2012, that was like, I could go out on that.
I mean, I could go out on a tenner at university.
Pound a pint night.
Yeah, pound of pints, quad vods, £2.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's just, and wages have not kept up with that. It would be all fine and dandy if wages were keeping up with inflation, but you've had certainly bigger experts on that topic than me on these podcasts, and so it's just becoming more and more unattainable. And at the same time, rents are going up. Home ownership is just a pipe dream for the vast majority of people, unless they're getting help from the bank of mum or dad. And so that all has a negative effect on dating. You also have to look at social media's role in this. Now, 20 years ago, social media was Facebook, it was statuses, it was taking your digital camera to the nightclub and then uploading the photos, like, Southampton Thursday.
Roll of like 300 photos.
Yeah, and they're all like the same picture.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just your mates with their tongue out, and the tongue's always like bright blue from all the like cheap alcopops.
Yeah. WKD.
Yeah, that was the one. 5 VKs for a tenner or whatever it was. That's your £10 there. But the great thing about social media was, like, you just lived within your world, right? Like, you went to Southampton, I went to uni in Bristol. Like, I just knew what was going on there, and I knew like celebrities on TV or magazines. But it wasn't like I can now engulf myself in content creation. I can engulf myself in like, celebrities live and behind the scenes. And so I think the reality of dating is a lot of people now perceive settling or dating someone that's normal or whatever it is as like, I should be dating this, or, there's all these kind of get rich quick schemes a lot of the time where people like, I become a Forex trader and I live in Dubai and
6'4" in finance.
Yeah, exactly. All that type of stuff. And so a lot of people feel like if they I hate to use this word, but if they're settling for just the local person or whatever it is, then it's, you know, they're not going to have this amazing life. And it's seen through social media. And you and I know this as we work in social media, and you talk about this a lot, which is great. Social media is complete, you know, not complete, but like a lot of it is just fakeness.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and a lot of these people are just saying this for clickbait and things like that. So dating's massively changed between, you know, the cost of going on it, but also the perception of what a successful relationship or date is.
So do you think that dating's become an economic luxury as such?
Goodness me, that's a great question. No, because you can date for free. I mean, you can cook dinner at home. Okay, you got to buy some ingredients, but okay, fine. You could. I just had a meeting today with the Royal Parks. It's really amazing. Like, they're in beautiful parks. You can go walk around a park. You can take a picnic there. You can do that stuff. But like I was saying, if you then go back to the thing before, you know, there's so many women online. I was talking about this to the actual in the meeting today, which was, I want to knock down the conception that going on a walk is a low effort date. A lot of women online, especially I see on TikToks, like, if a man asks you to go for a walk and get your coffee or whatever, then don't agree to the date because it's low effort and he doesn't care. Like that is just a common, a very, very common thought.
Oh, I see. So they're like sexy fish, 350 quid for the starters.
Yeah, exactly.
And if he's not like splashing out and offering to pay, then there's a problem.
Well, I think they just perceive it as minimal effort. Well, actually, a lot of people would perceive that as that's a fantastic way to get to know someone. You know what I mean? You can always go to a bar afterwards. That I don't want to give away all the content I'm going to do with them, but the point is, you know, like, you can suggest things that are free, but then going back in the loop to what I said, a lot of people then perceive that as low effort or doesn't have any money, won't be able to give me the life I want in the future. So yes, you can do things on the cheap or do things completely for free, but then it comes back to is that going to sell me to them? So people, you know, you talk a lot about rich guy, broke guy, and this kind of fakery. A lot of people will put ridiculously expensive dates on credit cards or finance or whatever it is. You know, you can Klarna stuff or whatever just to impress someone. It gives this false sense of security, but that's the real problem, is that they feel that that's the only way to be able to secure a person that they value.
I've definitely done that.
Oh yeah, no, so have I.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think like I've definitely thought, well, I better do the thing. And I used to do it back in the sort of debt days as well. And like, I would literally take out a new credit card just to take somebody out.
Okay, I've not done that. I've not gone that bad.
Yeah. No, I remember it well, actually. And it's like, I was trying to not be me and just to win the prize as such of actually getting a girlfriend, which is actually what I really wanted at the time. And, you know, it would have been probably nicer just meeting up and having a coffee or even just a small glass of wine in a nice wine shop or something like that.
100%.
And it's just, do you think that plays into that like status game that we have in our whole life then?
100%.
Like, yeah, everything. And it's bleeding over into dating.
Yeah, I mean, it bleeds over into everything, right? Instagram, who you've got on your arm, where you take them, you know, where they then want to be taken. Do you know what I mean? And then
how big the wedding becomes.
Yeah, how big the wedding becomes. God, don't even talk to me about that, considering we're planning one at the minute. You know, there's another.
I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be. I mean, it'll be good for all you lot. It's a pain. It's a pain, and but you know, we're people that wanted to do it. Like the cost of it is obscene, right? It is just obscene. Like as soon as you say wedding, it's like, you know, they're quoting us to make paella on the day too, right? Paella is chicken and rice, right? And they're like, oh yeah, it's 28 quid a portion. And I'm like, 28 quid, 30 euros a portion of paella. I'm like, mate, I could make paella for 100 people for 30 quid. And that's not hyperbole. So yeah, you tell them it's a wedding, and then that's the prices. But,
we did a LinkedIn post about it the other day. It's like wedding tax.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I told them, just do not tell any caterers on day 2, because it's, you know, no one's going to be in a suit or anything. Just tell them it's I don't know, late 30th or something. I don't know, early 40th probably now. But back to your point, yes, exactly. Everything is becoming a status thing, and even to the type of dating app you use. Right, there's levels to dating apps to do with socio-economic grouping, and so, you know, if you've got a certain degree, if you've got a certain amount of money, if you're in a certain industry, that really dictates where you date from a digital perspective, much like you would mix in members clubs or you would mix with, your community in the offline world, that totally exists in the online world as well. We can very, very interestingly could talk about that too when we later on in this podcast.
Running a business is a juggling act. And when it comes to managing my money, I run all of my 3 businesses through Tide. But one of the smartest money moves that I've made is setting aside my business savings, especially for my tax pot. Tide's Instant Saver account offers up to 4% AER. What I like about Tide is how simple it is to use. You don't have to bank with Tide to open a savings account either. And you don't need a big deposit. You can get started with just £1. If you fund your account with £5,000 in the first 30 days, you'll receive £100 cash back. And that's a great incentive for saving smarter. There's even a calculator on Tide's website which helps you forecast your interest, perfect for keeping track of your business finances. And yes, it's FSCS protected up to the value of £85,000, so your savings are safe as well. New members receive up to 4% AER for the first 6 months. For the full T's and C's, visit tide.co/savings rate. Check it out via my link in the show notes below, and don't forget to use my promo code GAINS to unlock your cashback offer.
Well, no, I'd love to, because you mentioned it there, and I remember you getting that app, and it was invite only, and you'd apply. What was it?
Raya.
Yeah, Raya. Yeah, exactly. And that was like, you'd be in the mix with some celebs and some models, and it was like super cool. They said no to me because I'm ugly as fuck.
No, that's like... that's not true. And also, I met Sarah on Raya.
Did you?
Yes, I met Sarah on Raya.
Aye. So they let you in?
Well, I was working in talent management then, so of course they let me. God, you should see my references, mate. you definitely let me in. So for those of you that obviously don't know, I spent 4 years working in kind of talent management, specifically within the modeling sector. So I remember one night, crazy. You
wonder why we're friends.
Yeah, he actually hates me. Just like hanging out with models. One of the craziest nights I ever had in my whole life. I think I was about 27 or 28, and we were working very closely with Estee Lauder, and they ran this kind of philanthropy night where they had like a brand that was putting money, like profits, into pollution, ocean pollution stuff. And so they would say, is anyone in your books really interested in this kind of conservation work? And weirdly, like loads of Victoria's Secret models were like, yeah, we're really interested in it, la la. So they asked me to take like 3 or 4 Victoria's Secret models and another like 7 models to this Estee Lauder thing, because the Estee Lauder client was my client. And so it was just me at 27 turning up with like these people like 20 million followers or whatever. And really interestingly, a guy that I worked with who's in talent, you'll laugh at this, and I think your listeners find it interesting. So he started ringing restaurants being like, I'm with all these people, you can call the paps on us, basically. So they like preempt the paparazzi where celebrities going to go if you'll give us free dinner, basically. So, we want a whole table of whatever. Really, we went to Monkey House in Dover Street.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, we'll tell the paparazzi that there's all these Victoria's Secret models. And they're like, done. Do you know what I mean? Done. Have whatever you want. But the point is, when I was sitting down at the table with them, I was like, hey guys, has anyone got Raya? Like, can anyone sign me in? And they were like, yeah, of course. And I was like, yes. Next day, straight in. I'm like, yes.
Oh, wow.
First person I ever saw when I opened it was Cara Delevingne as well. I know, first person. But yeah, me and Sarah met on Raya. And interestingly, and this is so funny, when we met, so for those of you that don't know what Raya is, it was originally set up for the kind of famous people and people that work with famous people. So agents, production people, stylists, so they didn't have to mix with kind of, because you can't be really famous and be on Bumble because people just report you.
Yeah, or Plenty of Fish or whatever.
Yeah, because people just report you for thinking you're fake. So I can't remember who it was, like some celebrity was like, I got banned from Tinder and Bumble because they thought I was using fake account. So they set up this Raya one, and the waiting list for Raya is 2.5 million, by the way, globally now. It's crazy.
Now?
Yeah, 2.5 million.
Wow.
And the great thing about Raya is everyone pays, no matter how famous you are, which I think is brilliant. So Sarah and I met on Raya, and the funny thing was, when we both met, we were unemployed. So she signed up to probably meet some footballer, and I signed up to meet some supermodel. We turned up, and both of us were on furlough, and like, oh yeah, cheers Rishi Sunak, help out to eat out. So yeah, but Raya is
£10 meal there.
Yeah. I wish that date was £10 meal, but anyway. But yeah, Raya is obviously like a very elitist one. You've got the League, which is about university background.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was originally started for Ivy League only students, and then it kind of built out.
Kind of similar to Facebook in some way.
Yeah, a little bit
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. And then you come all the way down to your generics, and then you've got kind of lower social economic groups like Plenty of Fish. It's more kind of your working class version of that.
That's where I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that your market?
It's
Yeah.
great fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 months, and then I was like, I'm never doing this again. Yeah. And thank God my my girlfriend to this day came along, because it was a tough 2 months.
Yeah.
But let's bring it back to home, because something you mentioned there was there's 2.5 million wait list,
Yeah.
which is a huge number. And even though that's, it's still a huge number, even though it's globally. But since 1980, there's been an 82% increase in people identifying as single.
Yeah.
What are the financial realities for someone that's single versus a couple today?
Yeah. Great question. So you're going to be about 10 grand worse off per person.
10,000?
Yeah. Per year.
Per year?
Per annum. More than 10,000 actually, but yeah, roughly around between 10 and 11,000.
So there's a singles tax of 10 grand.
Yeah, and that is the vast majority. And this, by the way, is if you're living by yourself, right? So the vast majority of that is just you paying every single bill in your household.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine living on your own with no one to split rent or mortgage or bills or tax or anything with? Every single thing that comes in is your responsibility, even like the weekly shop, I do 1 week, Sarah does the next week, whatever it is, but every week's you. Okay, fine. The output is half, but still the mortgage is the mortgage. And then there's the cost of dating. So actually, I'm going to ask you this. What do you think the average person spends on dates if they're single in a year? It's not huge, but it's a fair whack.
£500.
1,300.
So over 100 a month.
1,003. Yeah. Well, okay, let's go. Next question. What's the average cost of a date in London? How do I frame this? Yeah. What is the average cost of a date in London, which is the most expensive? And what's the average cost of a date in Leeds, which is the cheapest? Leeds and Plymouth.
Okay. I'm going to say £55 in London.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to say £35 in Leeds.
Okay. You're way off. 260 in London.
260?
Yeah, 260. And 133 in Plymouth and Leeds. And 130 in Leeds, 133 in Plymouth.
I get it, because like in my head, I'm like, that's what I would pay.
When have you ever spent 50 quid on a date, Sammy? Come on.
No, I know. But
Even when you were dating, so even like 7 years ago, 50 quid.
You're not getting hors d'oeuvres.
You're not getting anything
for that.
You're not getting anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the crazy stat as well is like 13% of people think between £300 and £400 is the average you should spend on a first date. Yeah. It's not loads, but it's still a fair whack again. That's the average.
The hairs have gone up on my arm. £300 to £400 on a first date.
Yeah.
As an average.
Yeah.
That's what they think they should
Yeah,
spend.
13. That's only 13% of people. So you could always flip that and say 87%. As in you and I also think that's a load of nonsense. But you can see, the average price of a date in London is 260 quid. So, who's got 260 quid?
So if you work those numbers out then, because there's 1,300 a year, £260. So you're going on roughly 5 to 6 dates a year? Technically.
Yeah. Well, that's about right, isn't it?
Unless you are having a few free ones in there. But
yeah,
like that's what, let's say it's a first date.
These are first dates, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're struggling to find a partner. Well, your odds are considerably lowered.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's very scary. And it goes back to what you just said. You've got what was the stat since 1980, 82% increase in people identifying single. I think what's even scarier than that is the last 5 years have nearly been the same amount of increase as the last 20 before.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And why?
I think one is cost, right? I think the prioritization, especially within the female space of career, is another one. I saw this crazy stat the other day. I'm reeling off a lot of numbers here, but it's like by 2030, 45% of females between the ages of 22 and 35 will be single and childless.
45%.
45%.
Wow.
So half, basically. Let's just say half, something like that.
And there's a multitude of factors that we both know are huge here, and how that has a massive effect on the economy as well. It's just drastic
on the human race, right? And I think that's an interesting thing. We talk about, because I work in online dating, I work in dating, and I go to a lot of startup conferences. I'm very lucky very passionate about what I do, so I can articulate it well. But when people hear that you work in the dating space, they do not give you anywhere near the respect that some agentic AI robot SaaS company that like can, you know, tell you what your favorite sandwich is or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And I think to myself, like, yo, if we don't get more people dating in relationships and hopefully getting married and having children, we all go extinct. Every single Western country near enough, and don't even get me started on Asia, you know, like Japan. I mean, we're just not having children. And if you don't have children, you don't have any people that pay tax into pension pots. You have an aging population. We're all, you know, it's easily going to be getting up to 95, 100 as an average life expectancy soon.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So the required rate for a sustainable birth rate for a country is 2.1. The Britain is currently 1.3, 1.4. For context, Somalia has been reduced from the high threes down to 2.4, and that was the highest country in the world. So this isn't a UK problem, this is a global problem. And a large part of that is education. Females are being more educated, they are pursuing careers, they are becoming way more independent, and that's a fantastic thing. There is no one saying that that's not a good thing at all. But it is causing birth rate issues, which are going to manifest later in 20, 30 years' time.
I just sometimes think, you know, we've got friends with multiple children now, and I just think to myself, like, how do you literally have any money? You know, I know some, you know, Sean, who you met at my stag do, you know, lives up north.
What a guy, man.
Absolute legend. And by the way, if you are listening to this, congratulations. He had another kid this week. So it's his third boy, right? And I think to myself, you've got 3 boys. Okay, yes, his wife Gemma works, but how do you pay for 3 children and you and Gemma and go on holidays and have enough clothes for them and 5 meals, you know, oh yes, they're eating smaller portions, but you know, and he just says, you just make it work. So my mentality is like, oh God, if I've got any money at the end of the month, it's going on me or it's going in the savings pot, whatever it is. But I always think to myself, goodness me, like they must be like chief accountants, but he just says, you just make it work. And so they manage to, but I can see why some people, and you know what? I think a lot of people feel like they've grafted so hard to get to a position, especially women, where they're like, you know what? I've worked my ass off to get to this level.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go and have a baby.
Exactly. I mean, I've just got the manager's job.
Yeah.
Spent 10 years doing this.
Yeah. I've put the, you know, and it's harder for them to get there or whatever it is. And they're like, oh, I'm not going to sacrifice myself for the greater good. That's someone else's job.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, but it can't be everyone else's job if we all have that mentality.
Yeah. Well, a child now is said to cost between 145 and 165,000 pounds, depending where you live in the country.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
doesn't surprise me one bit.
0 to 18. And so if you're having 3 of them, that's £500,000 near.
And good luck getting rid of them at 18. I think, you know, that's, you know.
That's if they leave on their 18th birthday. And even then, you're still supplementing them through university.
I'm 35 and mum's still like, oh, do you want to come on this holiday? I'm like, yeah, all right, if you're paying for it. Go to Dubai in a few weeks. I was like, yeah, come on, I'll come on the flight.
Yeah, of course. Like, you know, and then I hope that I can put myself in a position to potentially provide that for my kids one day. And I think like that's why we do it.
They get enjoyment out of it.
Exactly. So. Yeah, they want you there.
Yeah,
and that's what's cool about it. But it doesn't stop the fact that when you are like thinking because let's say, for example, you know, you're thinking about having a child or you get in that relationship at 25, 26, which is when, you know, you're at your prime, you know, birthing years as for a female, especially. And you're like, 165 grand, that thing's going to cost me. Well, no, like we can barely pay our rent. We are just about striving now. We can pop out to the pub once a week at the moment. Like that's our life. When you're putting a child into that, it doesn't seem fair. It doesn't feel fair. And I think that that's a scary thing.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is we've got to look at changes at a much bigger level than me and you sitting over this table and chatting. You know, we've got to put some incentives in there and we've got to make it work for people. You know, the government essentially hammers you. You know, look at that big tax, the tax cliff between 100 and 125k.
Yeah,
where you lose all your child support and you're essentially paying a 63% higher tax rate.
Yeah.
So we're disincentivizing people, one, into earning more money, and 2, earning more money and having children because they lose all the benefit, right? So we've got to get to a point where, I mean, I don't know why. Being a startup, right? We're part of a thing called Innovate, which gives government grants to problems the government wants solved, right? So tarmacking solutions for the potholes or whatever it is. And every month I read all the things the civil service are investing in businesses that do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like waiting for the day they wake up and realize that there's no children being born in this country. And I'm not saying that we're, going to solve that straight away. But if you want to, if you want that, you need to get people to meet. People aren't in relationships like they used to be. People aren't going out. Hospitality is getting hammered every second. People can't afford to go to the pub where they would have met before. And so, goodness me, guys, like, are we going to invest in these things? Because if you don't have any children, none of this matters. None of it. And so I always tell our account manager there, she's lovely, Alex. I'm like, when are we going to get the we need more children budget? Because we need them. So let's get it going. So if anyone from the civil service is listening to this, for the love of God, we need some more kids in this country, and we can be the first step of that.
Yeah. I read a stat the other day that the rural schools are closing at faster rates than ever just because they can't fill the classrooms up. And obviously a lot of people are moving away to the cities because all of the infrastructure has moved. The hospital was closed down in that area, the post office, the pub's gone. So they've gone to the bigger town where there is people and where there was a fantastic, top Ofsted primary school. There's now no longer a school.
When it comes to investing, choosing a stocks and shares ISA for me is one of the most important steps you can make, and it comes down to three things. What can I invest into? Are they trusted by their customers? And most importantly, how low are their fees? So after testing over 10 different providers, I have landed on Trading 212. They have an excellent mobile app with thousands of stocks and funds available, and they offer commission-free trading with zero platform fees. Plus, they're fully FCA regulated and have FSCS protection up to the value of £85,000. And right now, they're offering listeners of this podcast a free share worth up to £100 when you deposit just £1 into your account. So if you're looking for a low-cost stocks and shares ISA to start investing, it's hard to look anywhere else other than Trading 212. Use the code MGP for Money Gains Podcast to grab your free share today.
For someone holding off on dating until they're financially ready then, because it sounds like we're going to have to save up a little bit if it's 260 quid, right? Does the data support that strategy, or is it a trap when it comes to trying to find the other one that you need to spend your life with?
I absolutely disagree with that. So I'll put that straight out there. I feel like if you want to, like, another thing, and I know this isn't a dating podcast, but I always say this on the more kind of dating like podcasts that I go on. A date is just like a first date is just a meeting to decide if you want a second date. That's it. Go into every first date thinking we're just hanging out and I'm going to decide at the end if I want to go out with this person again. People put way too much pressure on first dates. I'm going to go to Nobu. I'm going to get the like tuna tartare and the bottle of wine and I'm going to spend 250 quid. And it's like, whoa, chill. That's not what this is about. Go and do something casual or like fun or whatever it is. Do the walk with a glass of wine afterwards. Do like something active. People like activity dates. If that's your bag, then go for it. But
I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't mind doing it. So weirdly, Sarah took me on a date when we were really first dating. We went on the world's biggest slide.
Okay,
in
Stratford one. Yeah.
It's good, but like it's over in 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do I do now?
Go to the pub.
Where's the pub? Yeah. Went to the pub, watched Chelsea lose to West Brom. I remember it clearly. Thiago Silva's first game. She saw a very different side to me. So happy and then fuming. But yeah, back to your question. Like, don't not date because you don't feel you have the financial means to impress someone or to do this mega date that you want. Like, dating is so much. It's fun. It's part of your life. You're going to be in a point, maybe it's not guaranteed for everyone, but you are going to be in a point where you're going to probably settle down with someone where, the thought of like going out on loads of dates in the week or whatever is actually filling you with dread rather than excitement. But when you're younger, go out and enjoy yourself. Like, go out, get to know someone. Like, treat a first date, like I said, as just a meeting. I'm just going to go and meet this person and I'm going to decide at the end if I enjoyed my time enough to want to meet that person again. Don't go in with any pressures into it. So I think, you can have £5 in your back burner. You can still go for a walk and, I don't know, take a couple of tinnies with you if you want to drink at the end. So go for it.
Let's talk about this. So do you feel like you need to invest time, like you would invest your money, like you kind of get what you pay for, you get back the time that you put in if you're putting it into dating?
100%. Here's a wild stat. And it might, you might go, oh, well, obviously he works for a dating company, but my God, like, don't try and get a discount on your dating product, right? 95% of people, I think, don't pay for Tinder, and their whole, I mean, they make $1 billion a year, $1 billion a year, or 5% of users, right? It's crazy. Imagine if they just...
Sorry, say that again. 5%?
Yeah, it's about 5%, yeah, pay for Tinder.
Really?
About 5%. So 95% are on
Doing
free
the
versions.
boosts?
Boosts, you know...
premium models.
Premium, yeah, things like that. Everyone on Raya pays, even if you're the world's most famous celebrity. Everyone pays. And I really liked that with Raya, because it was like, you could be the richest guy in the world, I'm still taking 10 quid a month off you.
Yeah.
And it's good because it's a level play. It's like everyone's paying for it. And they had little things there you could buy, like super message or whatever. Probably flung a few of those out to some, like, you know, big time DJs or whatever.
Cara, what you up to?
Yeah, what's going on, Cara? Ignored. Still took my 250 off me, but anyway. But one of the things I always tell people is, look, like any investment, you're outlaying money, but you're hoping to get returns on it. Now, the dating, we can't promise. It's like you say, even, you know, okay, you have things that, you know, S&P 500, things like that you think naturally these things go up. But nuclear war could happen tomorrow, and that could just all go to pot, right? So it's the same thing I say with your dating app. Like, if you're single, invest in premium for your dating company. I'm not saying download ours. I'm just saying pick one, right? And this is how I would, and I think this is what I would do. If I was single again, this would be my strategy. What's the most important thing to me? Is it values? Is it lifestyle? Is it, you know, religion? You know, if I'm Jewish and I have to date another Jewish person, then just put your money into Jewish dating website, JSwipe, right? Like, get the premium account. I have to be in that area. If I'm like, you know what, I'm in a more rural area, you're going to have to go with one or more of the broad ones. Like, if you're in the middle of, you know, can I swear on this podcast?
Go for it.
Bumfuck nowhere in, like, you know, the Yorkshire Dales or somewhere, you're going to have to use Tinder, right? To get any sort of reach, right? But I think what is really important to me, the most important thing, is it values? Is it a religion? Is it a lifestyle? Is it economics? You know what I mean? Is it like, okay, I'm a high flyer in the city, I want someone at my level, you know, I'm going to get the league. But just invest in one of those ones. Then have the other ones and use them on free accounts if you want, but just have the most important one and get the subscription, because it's the most, you know, you've talked about this before and you've clipped it. Most important decision you're ever going to make this. Don't get do you want a discount? You know, I tell you a funny story. I was in South Africa with my mum. My mum used to work for BA. So when I was on summer holidays, I'd be like, Mum, got anywhere decent, like, to go to? Anywhere crap? I'd be like, nah, you can go there on your own. But South Africa, I was like, yeah, South Africa's sick. Anyway, BA staff have like a loyalty program where they get money off certain things. And she was trying to haggle with this guy for a discount on the shark cage. And I'm like, Mum, there's certain things in life you don't haggle for the discount on. She's like, you don't take the BA card, we're not going to do it. They're like, yeah, but that only runs between these months, blah, blah. I'm like, Mum, I beg of you, don't get a discount on a shark cage.
He's leaving it the latch.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. I was like, no. Shark cage, bungee jump, jumping out of a plane, just pay me.
All of it,
just pay me.
you want.
That's the same thing I'm telling you right now, is don't try and get a discount on your future partner. You know, you're happy to pay for the Netflix, you're happy to pay for the gym, just pay 20 quid a month for the dating and cut something else. Yeah. You know?
And that's why the values thing is so important.
Yeah.
Because it comes into money as well. And you should be potentially asking some difficult questions, perhaps, around money earlier.
Yeah. So get this. Here's a great stat for you. 72% of Gen Z think it's important to talk about money with a partner. Serious money questions, right? 72, I think, or maybe 78. Even 72 or 78. And get this. How many... Oh, no, I'll just tell you. So 72% think it's important to talk about money. Only 41% of couples have had a conversation about money before engagement.
Whoa.
Half. Just say half. Near enough half. 41% of couples have never had a conversation with their partner about anything, money, finances, anything before engagement.
And I wonder what the rough, like, time frame that is. It's got to be a couple of years, like,
at
on
least
average.
At least, yeah. I mean, I was 3, but
so a couple of years, and you've never spoken about over half.
Yeah,
that's
no. It's yeah. Well, like 41% have never.
Oh, okay.
So 60% have, but 41% have never. So basically half, near enough, have never had a conversation about money. Although 72% think you should. So they think you should, but they just don't have they don't want to be the ones to bring it up, or they don't actually practice what they preach. And that's scary, right? Because you could be on completely different wavelengths and then you've already gone and whacked however much money on the ring.
Yeah, you spent loads on the ring. You got the wedding coming up now, potentially a family. It's probably time, you know. And I think it's scary though, because I would probably be personally, I think I'd probably be apprehensive about it maybe the first 5 dates. I don't sure I would bring it up. I think I'd get quite a good understanding in my head. I'd probably have some own questions, which are prompt questions, etc., that I know I'm going to ask to see how they get on with those types of things. It's been much more difficult for me these days being a financial bloody coach, but they'd obviously be asking me.
Imagine going on a date. Imagine going on a date with you now. Oh my god, Sammy, I don't care about ISAs. Talk to me about what you do at the weekend.
I look at ISAs.
HMRC will owe you money back. For God's sake.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I'm screwed.
I know.
I'm just going to have to stay with Charlotte forever now.
Yeah. Poor thing.
Yeah, poor thing. But I think after a while, after 5, it's like, okay, 5.
Yeah.
You're probably going somewhere for at least for a little while longer, I would say, you know, at that point. You're probably not going to get to 5 if you weren't feeling good. And then it's like, okay, yeah, what are you saying about money? Well, how would you approach that?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that, because I was just about to say, you don't have to make it so like forthright.
Let's do date 6 about money.
You bring your budget tracker, I'll bring mine. You know, you can just say a little bit things like, you know, what's your 5-year plan? That's a very normal, like, if you got a 5-year plan, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I'd walk out if someone said that to me.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I'm like that, but you know, it's the same when someone says it in an interview. I'm like, bro,
well, you don't know, do you?
I don't
but
know.
You need to, but like, you know,
I suppose it's like, what's your key ambitions?
Yeah, what do you want? Yeah, like, I think it's where you frame it or whatever, you know, like, what do you think is going to happen? You know, where do you see yourself? Like, where are you going? Like, what's kind of like a goal for you or whatever it is? Because again, you know, if a person's really on, you know, if a person's really on this and you're really on this, then you might as well save some time. If, like, for instance, children, like, if some people are like, you know, I especially if you're dating within our age group, like, you know, we're in our mid, you know, actually you're over mid 30s now. Do you know what I mean? And I will be very soon. But, you know, 5 years, you're 41. Do you know what I mean? So for us, you have to have those conversations fairly quickly. So if you're, you know, I've got friends that are like categorically, I don't want children, and that's fine. Okay, it's fine. You know, that is, like I said, it's no one's duty, although, you know, it's a problem, but it's no one's duty to have them.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, of course it is. It's absolutely no one's duty. It's not burden of you, the failures of the state. You know, this is a inherently a government problem for years.
You must
and
go
years.
make baby now.
Yeah, exactly. No, well,
do it if you want.
Made horrific policies for years and years and years, which have exacerbated your own demise.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask you about this. What societal incentives and policies are affecting dating decisions? So things like the tax breaks, the pensions, the immigration side, the things which come up as well. How do we approach that when we go into dating?
Well, I think successive governments and just how, like, hyper capitalism. Look, you know me and what I think about politics and things like that. But, you know, I certainly aren't on. I'm fairly centrist, but, you know, I'm much more in the free market camp, right? And you know, definitely a capitalist. But, you know, we've made it so ridiculous for anyone to have any of the things that were just standard to our parents, that you had to go to work. Females had to go to work, because how else would they survive? You know, even one male going to work now is hardly enough money to provide for a family, for a household. And so females have gone into the workplace, and like I said, you know, you're unincentivized to earn more money. If you're on 90,000 and you've got a kid, like, getting a 10 grand pay rise is not what you want, because you're getting into a 63% tax bracket until you hit, I think it's 120 or 125, and you lose your child benefit. So the government are making regressive taxation policy based on, you know, children, but also how much money. We're saying, no, actually, don't earn more money, because you'll actually have less.
No, but do.
Yeah. And so we can take more of it, but you won't get. So why would anyone do that? It's either I'm getting a, you know, pay rise to 125, or I'm not taking it, right? And so I just think, you know, the society is just it's been so hyper capitalist, and we're also struggling to keep up with everything. that what, you just said, what you say, 120 grand a kid?
165.
165. Well, she's just gone up, is it? And that's
No. It's
that's what you
definitely
said.
like, it's between 100, depending on who and does the study, it's like 145 to 165.
But people just say, people just say, I can't afford to have a child. And I think that also, if we're talking politics here, we've got the 2-child cap benefit, something very weirdly that Reform are against. They want to get rid of that. They want to have more benefits, which is a very, very left-wing policy for such a right-wing party, right? I think it's only like the SNP and the Greens that agree with that. Weird. But anyway, I understand why people have resentment towards people that are on benefits, that have loads of children, get housing, and it's not the kids' fault. But like, you've got very middle-class couples that have 1 kid or don't have kids at all because they can't afford it. And then you've got people having 8, 9 kids. And I think, again, a lot of immigration coming into the country, as you mentioned there, having a lot of children, do you know what I mean? Especially within, certain communities, having a lot of children, council housing, putting pressure on a lot of people there not working. So that it's just pressure. And so I understand why people get angry. Like, I understand, like, I'm not going to name where, but I spent a lot of time in a place that was just needed such a bad lick of paint. But then it's like, you're looking at how many people pay tax in these areas, and it's like way less than a third. So again, there's children's become weaponized in some way,
Yeah, absolutely.
And I get it, by the way. If you're coming in on the train at 5, what time do you get the train this morning?
6:25.
Right. Imagine you're working in the city, coming in from Ramsgate. You're up at 5 o'clock every day. You did it once, right? Not once, but you know what I mean. Imagine you're doing that every day.
Yeah.
Every single day, working, grafting, dialing for dollars, smashing it out in wherever.
Or someone gives you a fat check for doing nothing.
Yeah. And you're going, I can't have a kid. And if I get a pay rise, I'll actually lose money. What? What kind of, how
I need
can
the
that
pay rise because my train's gone up and catch 22 round we go here. Yeah.
And I can't afford to live here, so I've got to move out. But then if I move out, I've got to get the train in, which means I have less sleep, and the train's costing me 8 grand or whatever it is a year. So actually, I might as well stay here. But then I can't have a garden,
or I can't have a child. Yeah. So it's like, it's
so what are we gonna do? Like I said, we can't solve it over this table, but we can try.
But we can give it a go. But you are giving it a go, and so you've built this piece of tech, and I think it's important to discuss the reasons why you built it, because you prey on the dating apps as they currently exist, prey on dopamine.
Yeah.
And they prey on the kind of same vibe as short form content. And you have something incredible about short form content, which blew my mind when you told me.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's more harmful to your brain than alcohol.
So short form content is more harmful to your brain than alcohol. Why?
Because it affects the dopamine receptor, the prefrontal cortex. Is that right? It's the reward makes dopamine for you.
Yeah.
And short form content, with just by its nature of not knowing what's coming next, the fact that everything's different when you're flicking through it, it just overwhelms that part of your brain more than drinking does. And so you're flooding your brain. So I actually said this the other day, which is we've lost the ability to be bored, and being bored is very important.
Because you can just draw from your phone.
Because you can draw from your phone. I literally, if I'm going to the toilet and I haven't got my phone, I'll turn around and go get my phone.
I'm the same.
Yeah, so I just flick through TikTok and I'm just sit there and I'm like, this morning I was watching an American in a hotel room eat UK McDonald's and rate it. And then I said to myself, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh, these mozzarella sticks are better in America. It's pointless.
It's not changing your life.
No, it's making my life worse. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, yeah, but that's because you're full of crap and I'm getting pissed off. But, we've lost the ability to be bored. And let me say this, like, being bored is very important. One, it allows our brain to rest, but it also allows our brain to think. If you're just flooding yourself with mozzarella dip eating Americans or whatever, you're never allowing your brain to start thinking about things. And, I came up with the idea for Mattr looking out the window in the gym. I was like, God, I felt like I wanted to talk about my ADHD on a dating app, but then dating apps are so competitive and so swipey. I was like, God, if I write this down, like, no one's going to like me. They're going to think I'm hyper or I can't shut up, or like, they're just not going to want to date me because there's so many people. So I'll just pretend I don't have anything. I thought of that looking out the window, doing some exercise, right? So, but that was before short form content existed. So like, it's very, very important to allow your brain to just be like, think and to be bored and all that type of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. And what have you addressed with the app?
So the way the app works is we work with psychiatrists and psychologists. So here's a wild stat for you. I love this one, by the way. Yeah, drum roll. So I don't know if I've told you this, but the most amount of choice the human brain can handle before it's overwhelmed is 9 options.
Okay.
9.
Yeah.
9 options.
9.
9. Yeah. We've known that since 1956 or 7. A guy called Miller in America basically presented options to people and then did all the studies on, when they started to get more frustrated. So having loads of options is actually a bad thing. And that's why if you go to like a Michelin star restaurant, they don't have 3 pages of food. They have like 4 mains, don't they? Fish, veg, meat, and that's it. You go to like a crap place and it's like TGI Fridays, you're thinking microwave, frozen, none of this is fresh, right? So actually less is more, and we're overwhelming our brain with dopamine. So, there's no point in going on Tinder and sitting there for 45 minutes swiping through 100 profiles, easily 100. You're making a decision based on anyone that's used Tinder,
Well, I
Bumble,
remember the
Hinge.
videos of people just being like, and they do like thousands.
Yeah. I even saw like a guy that had like a machine that just did it for him, and then he just went through and he liked. He just liked everyone, and he just had it there. And he was like, "Yeah, if I get one, I'll just match them or delete them or whatever if they're not for me." So we give you 9 if you're on premium, and we give you 6 if you're standard.
Okay.
And then we rank them in ascending order based on your compatibility with them. And so every day you're presented with 6 profiles at midnight. We have the Cinderella moment of 11:59 where we're like, Cinderella moment, like last chance. And then we present you with 6. We tell you why. So we think that you would be a good match for X because of this data that we have on you. You can't just like someone. You have to write to them, because it's unnatural to go into a bar like Tinder and just poke someone and then just bugger off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, what are you
They're
saying?
like, what's that? Like, why have you come over here and like done this
Poked
to me?
me.
Super swipe, just like waving in their face. You know what I mean?
With the mop on.
Yeah. I super liked you. So we make you write, and to write you have to open the profile, because let me give you an example again.
So you wouldn't just press message.
Yeah, you have to open the profile,
Yeah.
and it's at the bottom. So I know if I'm going to message you, I know everything about you. And because imagine you've got a dog, right? Imagine I'm female. I like the look of your profile. Archie's not on your profile picture. I'm like severely allergic to dogs. Like I come out in hives, right? And I've liked you. You've liked me back. Buzzing. Yeah. Like that's the guy I fancied. I want it. And then I open it, go through a little bit of your profile, 4 pictures in, you've got a dog. And I've just wasted all of this time. Like I'm never going to be able to come near you or go in your house. And I mean, dog is a very menial thing. Well, not menial if you've got a severe allergy, but you know what I mean?
I understand.
But you could be like really ultra right wing, and you could have a real left wing person that have matched, and they're like ideologically not compatible. But because they're just doing stuff based on looks and nanoseconds, which is the dopamine thing, like how many of these can I get through? It's an infinite loop. You're never going to run out of TikToks. You're never going to run out of people on Tinder as long as you pay for it. And that's what they do, right? They keep you on the hamster wheel. And I'll tell you, you're talking about gambling and dopamine flooding. Go and download Tinder. Well, actually, don't do that.
I'm never going back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you download Tinder as a new account, you are flooded with the most attractive people that the whole product's got in your parameter for about the first 100. It's like supermodel, people that are getting thousands and thousands of likes.
I do remember that back in the day.
Yeah.
You haven't used it for a couple of weeks. You go on and
All the baddies are there.
Yeah.
And they're never going to see you, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're never going to see your profile.
Mm.
But they want to make you think that everyone in this app is like that, right? And so they're preying on your dopamine. And we were very much like, we're not doing that, right? And even on our platform, if you want to reject, so let's say that you message me, I'm not interested. I have to give a reason why I'm saying no to you. It's anonymous, so we don't go back and be like, Sammy said this. But you can just put just not my type, which is the number one thing. But a lot of the time it's poor opening message, profile wasn't complete enough for my liking, something there that I didn't align on value wise. And so we can take that feedback back to the person and say, hey, this is what it is. Like you've only got 3 pictures. Like we give you an opportunity for 6.
And they're not great or whatever.
Yeah, and they're low res or like change of pictures, and then we see them getting more matches. And so one of the things we did actually was the second thing after not my type, which is obviously understandable, was poor opening message. So we worked with an AI company called Mindful. Mindful AI basically helps you craft opening messages in the tone you want to craft it in, right? Because some people are like, God, they know what they want to say, but they They
Yeah,
can't get it
the
down.
words out.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
We've
so
all had that. Your tongue
yeah, of course.
tied. Yeah,
And especially if you're nervous, even if it's digital, you can get nervous. Like, God, I'm
Absolutely.
shooting my shot here.
yeah.
And so we worked with a company like that, and then we just saw message rates go like getting accepted way more since we put that in. So,
Interesting.
so the point we're getting at is like we're so human first. Everything we do is about helping you connect. And I find, things like Hinge designed to be deleted, and yet we incentivize you to take out longer subscription packages with discounts. Like, how can those two things live in the same product? Everyone knows that they don't want to delete. Whereas with us, like, we know, like the data suggests that we've got basically like 3 months of a user, right? That's how long
Is that the cycle?
yeah, basically we know that we've got 3 months to either find you a match, give you a good experience, or you're going to churn, right? That's like, we get that. So we want you to come in, and that's what I'm saying about investing. Invest 20 quid a month or whatever it is for 3 months, see how you get on. And we know as a business, we're going to keep someone in for 3 months. There's ongoing and there's outcome products, right? Like there's Netflix is ongoing. You're always going to pay £10 a month, whatever it is for Netflix. But then there's things like weight loss. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be an outcome to that, hopefully. You want your client to succeed. You don't want them to still be, the weight they came
if you're
in
sitting
at.
in the gym in 3 years with me, there's
Yeah, exactly.
done
Why are
the
you still
thing.
on my thing? And so for us, we understand there's a need for there to be a closure. And so we're like, come in 3 months. Hopefully we can convert people. And like I say, our investment, Sammy, is going to make you money because we work with, like I said, 70 brands now giving you discounts you wouldn't get. We can give you like £25 credit on premium. Everyone on premium gets £25 credit for Ruby, which is beauticians to your home. So, if you're getting your nails done, lashes, whatever it is, to come to your flat and do it.
Nice.
Cocktail bars, mini golf, axe throwing around the corner. So you're putting in premium and you're actually making money back. So we always like to say we're the world's first ethical dating company, because actually if you use the product 2 or 3 perks a month, you'll make that money back.
I think you're doing great things. And for those that are listening to this, how could they get involved if they were interested in jumping on?
So some exciting news. This is breaking news. I kept this for you. It's exciting. It's exciting for us. So we were only based in London, and now we've expanded. So we've got launching. We're just waiting for Apple to sign off, but by the time this comes out, it'll be done. So now we're in anywhere within the M25, right?
Okay.
So it's not like the whole world, but it's a little bit. So if you're in Watford, you can get Mattr now.
Nice.
And, Epsom, Weybridge, Brentwood, and anywhere in the M25. So you can download the product. If you're not within that area, please download Mattr anyway. It's spelled Mattr, and just put your name on the waiting list. Manchester and Birmingham are the 2 top cities. We just need a little bit more people there, and we can launch. And if you like kind of what I've been talking about, my Instagram, which is the best place for me, is datingwithjamie_.
Yeah, it's been good fun. It's been good fun. I want to do a little. I don't normally do this.
Okay.
I want to do it with you.
Go on
to
then.
see what you say. So I've got a little quick fire money equals love round. All right.
I like these.
So first date, who should pay and why?
Whoever asks for the other person to go on the date.
Okay. Why?
Because they know if they're planning the date, they know how much it costs, and therefore they should be planning somewhere where they can pay for 2 people.
Okay. I like that. Minimal viable dating budget for someone in London per month,
Including the app.
including the app.
God. 100 quid.
Okay. It's lower than I thought.
100 quid on like 1 date a month, and 20 quid for the premium account.
Okay.
Get
so
premium. I
100.
can't tell you that's going to be your biggest lifesaver.
Okay. Biggest financial red flag in a potential new partner for you?
Oh, credit card debt. Mad credit card debt. Trust me, I've dealt with it. We've got it down, but it's been, yeah. I mean, goodness me, if you and Sarah dated back when you were in your waxing everything on credit card days, that would have just been a bank stream and my absolute anxiety.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, credit card debt.
What lifestyle inflation trap do most couples fall into these days?
Holidays they can't afford that they want to put on social media to impress people.
Oh, punchy. Instagram lifestyle. Love it. Okay, last one. Better financial decision. A 10K pay rise or marrying the right person?
Marrying the right person, easy.
Why?
Because 10K, you can spend on one of your overpriced holidays pretty quickly if your partner demands it.
Yeah.
So, you need to be a lot. Who you end up with is like your mental sanity. You don't want to get divorced, mate. Do you know how expensive that is?
Yep.
You've got to really want to get divorced. That's my piece of advice for anyone thinking about getting divorced. try therapy, try whatever, because you really got to want to get divorced. The price, the breakup of the home, your assets. I don't think my dad never come back from it mentally ever. Still resents it now, and it was nearly 30 years ago. So, and that's I think very
same with
normal.
my dad as well. Yeah.
It broke him as a man, and
Yeah.
and I think you got to really want to get divorced. So pick someone that's not going to put you through that, or you might put them through it. But yeah, way more important than 10K, mate. 10K pay rise as well. So you 5K after tax, then, yeah?
Literally. Yeah.
400 quid a month.
Marrying the right person
100 quid a
every
week.
day of the week. I mean, I'd definitely set that up, but it had to be done.
Yeah, good
Jay,
man.
I've loved this. So dating with Jamie and
_ Mattr.social. Yeah. So Mattr.social across TikTok, IG, LinkedIn, all that jazz. And Mattr date. You can type Mattr dating in App Store and Google Play.
Love it, man. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
coming
so
on.
much.
I've loved it.
Cheers, bro.